we're away.
Well, congratulations on the win. What were your thoughts on the match?
Look, I thought for long periods of the match, I thought we were the better team. I think obviously the wind plays a part, so you could see like first half to second half of both teams. Obviously, it's a big help having it behind you. But yeah, we deserved it. I thought we deserved the points. I thought we played really well. Especially with a lot of young guys stepping up. Young Jacob Dowse on debut against a couple of big centre backs. I thought his effort was good, and he had some good moments. But just as a collective, I just thought we deserved the game. Yeah, we deserved the points.
And to do it missing so many of your first choice players and Leaf goes down as well. How proud are you of the group tonight?
Look, extremely proud. I think there's inside our four walls. There's a real big belief, and we know where we are, and we know some of the points that we should have picked up in other games where we actually played well and didn't take those chances and weren't good enough in those moments. But I thought tonight we were, and extremely proud of the group. There's a real togetherness inside that dressing room, and they deserved it tonight.
Khalifa's injury, what was it exactly, and how bad is it?
Look, I think I haven't spoke to the physio yet, but I think it was just a little bit of groin pain. So it's never a positive. Obviously, sound like a bit of a broken record, but the season's been weird. We've had 7 out of our 10 games away from home, a week apart, and then we have 5 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it was without a game, and then all of a sudden we're at home and we play 4 games in 16 days crammed together. So look, that 4-day turnaround, along with travel, it's not ideal. It's not very professional, if I'm honest, given the amount of miles we travel. So I think the boys have done really well to get the points tonight with what we had out there.
Ruben, just on the game, Marco just said that there was a pretty, a lot of swirling wind out there. Is that something you've noticed from the last few games at Macedonia Park? And do you feel like the team's adapted to it?
Look, I don't think. I think it's more a case that we're at home and we're comfortable, and we haven't travelled. And for us right now, the margins are quite small. We're a team that's in its infancy, really, and we didn't have many competitive games in pre-season, even though it was a long pre-season. So I've always been very clear in saying that we've got a lot of improvement in us. And I still believe that. I think it'll still take a couple more windows for us to get back to where we want to get to. It'll still take a few more additions. But the ones that we do have and the ones that we've brought in, they're really buying in and they're really working hard. And so I think it's more a case of here at home we find some sort of comfort. We're a little bit fresher than the opposition. And because the margins are so small and because so many of our games are so tight, that can be the difference.
Just on a few of the new boys who came in, Johnny Katrumbas obviously sorted in the back line very well. Luke Bodnar looked like he'd been there the entire time. You must be pretty proud of the guys who did step in tonight and provided pretty good performances.
Yeah, that's right. And, one man's loss is another man's gain. And, in our squad, we've got some guys that have been working really hard and getting themselves to fitness. Bods is someone, I thought his performance was very good. He can still be a lot better. If I'm honest, I'm still having a go at him for a few things just because I know how good he can be. But he's been working hard. And in the end of that hard work, pays dividends come the moment. So, yeah, I am very proud of the ones that stepped in there. I thought Johnny Katrumbas did really well. But I must stress it was just a good collective effort. I thought we did things together, and we showed a real commitment to play, the way we play and move the ball the way we want to move it. And when you play without fear and when we're able to do that, we can make it very difficult for teams.
Cameron Cook, first clean sheet in the season. He's in goal. Is that the direction you're going to move now?
Look, it will be hard to move him. Let's be honest, just on the fact that it's a clean sheet. But the reason for the change was more around just the 4-day turnaround. Obviously, Rocket's age, and also the fact that Cameron Cook's a great young talent. I think not many people realise he was out for about 7 or 8 weeks at the start of this season. So he's taken a while to get back to fitness, and to be honest, he hasn't played a game in a long time. So we've had to be very patient with him and make sure we get him right before we throw him in the deep end. And I thought tonight his performance was fantastic. But we'll look how they recover and look at how everyone comes through that match, and then pick what we think will beat Brisbane. But I must stress that we need everybody.
Just some questions now about stuff off the field. There's been some rumours about a training pitch bust up.
Yeah, I think someone's having a lend to you guys. I got asked that on the pitch post-match, and it's the first I've heard of it. Certainly no training ground bust-ups. We didn't train, so that's actually quite funny because all we've done is really recover and then have a separate group running. Inside our four walls, we've got a fantastic group of players, fantastic group of people, staff and players that have been working really, really hard without getting the rewards that we probably should have in some games. And, I'm not sure where that external noise comes from, but like most things, when you're down the bottom of the ladder, the walls will come out and people will talk, but we're not really interested in rumours or hearsay. What we are interested in is sticking very clear to the long-term plan for this club, and that's to work really hard, have a clear identity and a clear style that's going to be sustainable for this club. And, we're definitely a work in progress.
More specifically, Ryan Williams and Mark Beavers, I've heard some stuff about they stormed out, or that's a big reason why they weren't playing tonight.
They were leading the team song there and having a right old chuckle. So like I say, you might have your wires crossed, but like I said, when you're down the bottom, people will try and create conflict outside of our four walls, but inside our four walls. Beeves didn't play with a stiff back and Ryan had a sore groin, and they both tried to train here at Masso Park the day before the game and didn't get through their fitness test. Both fantastic players, fantastic people who were in there getting their arm around all those young ones and hugging players and staff. So like I say, inside our four walls we've got a fantastic group and we're just going to continue building.
When did you hear about those rumours and what was your reaction?
Yeah, look, I heard about it for the first time on the pitch after the game, and obviously I haven't seen where it's come from or where it stems from, and to be honest, I couldn't give a shit because, my belief never wavers, and I impart that in the group, and we're very resolute in our belief and where we're headed, so we'll stay true to that process and let the guys outside the walls talk.
Ruben, as well, just with Aaron McInnes, obviously you spoke the other day, it looked at the time like it may have been a minor issue. Tony Sage was saying on Facebook it's now looking like 8 weeks. Are you able to clarify?
Yeah, look, it's looking like a more serious injury than what we first thought. I know fans and members, they would love the communication to be really clear, and it's sometimes difficult because we're not in a position to do it. He's had to go and see surgeons and specialists around the injury in his foot, and it looks like it'll be more of a long-term injury now, which is obviously very disappointing. He's a fantastic player and a great character in our dressing room, and it's a big loss, but we've got a squad with a lot of young guys that are hungry for opportunity, and we'll back those guys in. It's something I've been very big on through this process, is creating assets for our club. And you've only got to look at that team tonight: Zimmerino, Jake Muir, G. Colley, Joe Ford. They're all products of the youth team that I coached for a couple of years. And then you've got guys like Jacob Dowse, an NPL product from Newcastle, who I've coached for about 4 or 5 years. And you've got a Keegan Yelich, who we've identified, a Matt Hatch, young quality players, and there are others that aren't in the squad that are hungry, and we'll keep backing those guys in, guys like homegrown players like Luke Bodner and others. So yeah, McInnes' injury looks like more serious than we would like, but we'll put our faith in other people for as long as he's off the pitch.
What type of a foot injury is it? Like a fracture or a ligament issue? Or?
I don't know enough about foot injuries. All I know is at the moment that he's seen a specialist, and it looks like it will be 8 weeks minimum.
And just on the injury front, who do you expect back for the next game? You mentioned Williams and Beavers.
Look, I think both of those guys will be right based on what they're saying and how they're feeling. I think the fact that it was just a 4-day turnaround, and Beavers is a player, he hasn't missed much, and he's probably not used to the flight and the travel. So he's obviously used to 4-day turnarounds in England. He's played 600 odd games, don't quote me, but 600 odd professional games in his career. He doesn't miss much. He was pretty pissed off not to play, almost apologetic, which kind of sums him up. So, sorry Rube, sorry I can't get there. I'll just have to make sure I get it right for Tuesday. His eyes are firmly fixed on that game, so hopefully he comes back, but he's got to settle. And same with Ryan Williams. He said it's feeling better today, which is a positive.
Where's Steph Kolakowski at? I know you've been asked a few times about it, but it's touted as a pretty big pickup from Melbourne City, but hasn't been seen for quite a while, and I think it's one of the fans. Just would like an update. Yeah, look, it's another one that's I'm happy to give an update. Steph, we've had a change of shape. We've got 2 formations that we like to play in at the moment. We're in that back 3 setup, and in a 4-3-3, he'd be a more natural, right winger. He's a very much a right winger, and we're working with him in playing how he can fit into our front line and how he could fit into wing back. But at the end of the day, look, I pick a team and a squad that I think can get the points, and he has to train well enough to get in that squad. So look, we think he's a fantastic character. He's a top guy around the dressing room, and he's certainly much loved, and so there's no hard feelings there. But at the moment, he's not doing enough to get selected.